Hello, my friend. It's the Crypto Lunatic, and today I bring you a little update based on a comment from one of my videos. And today we're going to be looking into this little tiny degen project behind me called Cellframe, and we're going to be looking into quantum resistant technology. Now, we are now in a niche of crypto that is relatively unexplored, but it's looking to solve one of the biggest problems in crypto, and that is what if quantum computers can simultaneously hack everything in a network and take down crypto projects. Now, for those of you that watched one of my previous reviews when I looked at quantum resistant technology, we are looking in an area here which is relatively unexplored. And from somebody that has been in several crypto discussions and conferences, the issue of quantum computing is one of the biggest single threats to crypto and Bitcoin and blockchain that there is. And why is that? Let's talk about what quantum technology is looking to do. So quantum computing is a super fast future computer that works so quickly it could simultaneously hack a whole network, every node, and take down the entire system. This is simply what the threat potentially is. Now, when we're in crypto conferences, and people sit down and discuss this area, there's usually two sort of responses that I've seen from experts in the space. The first one is, well, if that happens, we're all in a lot of trouble. And the other response is, it's likely that that is so far down the line that it's not a concern for us at the moment. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at future proofing. Well, we're looking at future protecting the future. But a lot of people aren't talking about it. So this would be the equivalent of lying on a nice hot beach, enjoying yourself, enjoying the sunshine, and some lunatics running down the beach saying, get away, there's going to be a tsunami. You know, it's a hot day. There's no signs of a tsunami. You're not seeing anything verifiable. All right, the tide might be drawing out a bit, but that's just an interesting phenomenon. And you just sit there looking at this lunatic shouting. And this is the equivalent of what this project is doing at the moment. This is a threat that Cellframe's looking to solve. Now, it's certainly not on its own. We're going to take you on a little journey today into quantum computing, tiny little degen project, Cellframe, and what it does, what it is, and what the risk is to crypto. So, like anything that I talk about, this is certainly not financial advice. This is meant to educate you into doing a little bit of research for yourself and not buying into any of the hype. And secondly, the bigger ecosystem, the threats that could come into crypto. And with that in mind, my friend, join me on a little journey. So it all started here. This is my YouTube channel, and this is a video I recorded on quantum resistant ledger. I did a review. And this was a review that I did 4 months ago, where I talked at detail at quantum resistant technology. And I've just summarized pretty much what I said on that whole video, the problem it's looking to solve. And I got a comment in today from Hassan Heroy saying, Cellframe better than QRL. Now, usually I wouldn't, with a comment like this, I wouldn't do much with it. But given how interesting that this little niche is, I thought I'd look into it. I would explore and see if Hassan Heroy has any valid point by pointing out this project. So that's how it started. And transparently, until about half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, I knew nothing about this project. So I'd never even heard of it. So I did what I usually do. I went on Coinmarketcap. And we see here, my friends, look, we are totally in the degen zone. We're at a 1.3 million market cap project. And what's interesting about this is, unlike a lot of these degen projects early stage, the tokenomics are quite good. That the fully diluted value is only 1.72 million, which means that most of the tokens are in circulation, which is a very, very healthy start for a low cap degen project. So the tokenomics look good. The market cap is in the massively high risk zone. So for you degens, this is a proper degen play. We're in the proper degen zone, my friends, which is incredibly high risk. So for people new to crypto or people outside, this is the lottery ticket zone. You're buying a lottery ticket at this level on a project like this. let's be straight about that up front. That's exactly what this is going to be. And as we look down, we see it's on a few exchanges, none of the major ones, although Gate's fairly big, PancakeSwap's fairly big, MEXC's fairly big. So there we go. I mean, it's certainly not on Coinbase or Binance, but here's what's interesting. There's 17,000 holders, which is pretty good. And also in the top 10 wallets, there's only 20% of the tokens, which means that there's reasonable distribution on this project, which is a very, very promising start. So far, this is looking pretty good. About Cellframe. Cellframe Network is a scalable, open source, next generation platform for building and bridging blockchains and services secured by post-quantum encryption. I'm going to give you the short version. I'm not going to read through their geek version. This is it's a very secure layer one blockchain that you can build on that is taking on board the threat of potential quantum technology coming into the space. So that tidal wave, it may not hit, my friends, but if it does, this is a safe place to build, a bit like the quantum resistant ledger that I reviewed back in the day, or back a few months ago. So there we have it. Let's look at their X account. Now on X, they have just under 40,000 followers, which isn't a huge amount, but it's certainly for a market cap of this feels like very real. It feels unmanipulated. So build and manage your blockchain solution, easily tokenize your project. So you can go on this blockchain and build. And the odds are if you build on it now, they'll be very happy to see you. So the odds are for early stage projects, if you're looking for a blockchain to build on and the others are too big and expensive, I'm guessing that if you were to go to Cellframe Network and say, look, we want to build on there, that they'll probably greet you with open arms. And I would imagine it would be a significant discount to most of the major chains, with the added bonus that this is future-proofing your project from quantum technology. Anyway, that's a mouthful. So we'll just go down and we'll look at the engagement, reasonable engagement. So a session with Dmitry Gerasimov. So here we go. Just to prevent future FUD, blah, blah, blah. We go down, we see a reasonable following. The website, very unspectacular. There we have it there. Doesn't really tell you much. It does the job. We go to Cryptorank. And here we look. We see that this project, it verifies the market cap. It says that the circulating supply is 98% out there. Now, that's not the maximum supply, but it says that there's healthy tokenomics. And also, it says that people are on a 53% loss on the IDO. And the IDO, people got in at 0.1. Now, just to go ahead, this undisclosed funding round, I will go straight to here. And I said, to the best of your knowledge, what is the likely price range that early investors got in at the March 2021 funding round? And that is around the same price, 0.096 to 0.1 per cell. So all of these early stage investors are sitting on over a 50% loss. That's what we're looking at the moment. So the current price is brilliant value, my friends. You're getting in at less than half price of the people that got in right at the very beginning. Right at the very beginning. Let's look at the very beginning. Back in 2021, this project pumped to $6.22. Now, if it gets anywhere close to that, you're sitting on a quid's in. And I mean, even here, let's look at, because most projects spike up early. But let's look here. It's been up to $3. And even here, it's been up to $1.90, and back here and this is just last year, 2024. It's not last year, it's 2024, but it was up at $1.90. So this project, and since then, it's just been going progressively down. Now, some would say that this is a chart of an almost dead coin. Others would say this is a brilliant investment opportunity of a lifetime. And it's clearly going to all hedge around will they get adoption for this. So let's now look at crypto. This is my AI crypto assessment. Now, let's go to the summary. We've gone through, well, actually, no, let's go to the master scoring matrix. Now, we talked about a few things on here. Here's the master scorecard. Now, we've got team quality 85%. They've got a 9-year track record of continuous development, regular AMAs, which is Ask Me Anything, no scandals. This looks like a really legit project where the founders are very open. That's a very, very good start. Tokenomics, well, the tokenomics look good. They're giving it 95%. Market position, 25%. It's on a discount to competitors, but 9 years of market rejection signals narrative failure. So the market hasn't woken up to this project. So will it sit in the background? Will it get adoption? This is going to be the big thing. On-chain health, 40% is a stream micro cap territory, my friends. So, but what I will do on this note here, I went to on-chain health. I looked at Deck Screener. I put in Cellframe for the liquidity. Now, this is important with liquidity because if you get into a project, if there's no liquidity, you'll never get out. So you're looking for liquidity. Now, there's not great liquidity. Look here on this, on the BNB one, there's only $165 of liquidity. There's only 4.1K of liquidity on here. But as we go up and we see on Uniswap, there's $83,000 of liquidity. And better still here on PancakeSwap with this one, 201K liquidity, which is pretty good, but that was 3 years ago. So we're not really getting very much. We don't know what the liquidity is, but I'm guessing that it's fairly low on a project like this. So the technology, 90%. So it's got great tech and market timing, 60%. So the master scoring matrix has given this 67.5%. Now, this is above average for a tiny little degen play. So what we've got is transparent founders. We've got great tech, but we've got no adoption. And that's what we're dealing with here on this project. So we go down, the investment thesis. Let's look at this. So what are you buying? Cellframe is a post-quantum service-orientated layer 1 blockchain built in C for maximum efficiency and security. It's been in continuous development since 2017 and offers masternode staking, slot auctions, and service provision. Why it is mispriced. So the market pricing of Cell is a massive discount to comparable quantum-resistant and multi-chain infrastructure projects because the quantum threat narrative is too early and the service-orientated business model has not achieved adoption. However, if the quantum computing advances faster than expected, Cellframe is the only shovel-ready, quantum-resistant layer 1 with 9 years of development and proven infrastructure. And what catalyst is needed? So a mainstream quantum threat, a Google or IBM demonstration, a nationwide state attack, or a major enterprise client deploying Cellframe's VPN, CDN services. And what's the biggest risk? The quantum threat timeline is 15 to 20 years away, and the market continues to ignore Cellframe for another decade. The token bleeds to zero as the early holders exit and no new demand materializes. So there we go. Let's look at the phase 3. Now, this is where I get Perplexity to double check. I haven't taken through all of the data that I got from phase 1 and phase 2 here because I wanted to keep this one brief. There's a lot of data churned up on phase 1 where I fed into the white paper for Gemini to look at. Then I get Claude to double check it. And then Perplexity is the only one of those 3 engines that doesn't have a cutoff. So it can confirm the data against against what we're currently getting. And all of the claims for the data have been confirmed, and the validation summary that the data that we've got to make this review is 100%, which is the highest it can possibly get. So just as a treble check, let's go to Grok. We've looked at the price. I've asked it to give an overall executive summary of the project and investor case for an 80-year-old non-computer or crypto literate to understand. So let's keep it simple and let's use Grok's words to summarize this project. Imagine a very safe, super efficient digital ledger system like a high security bank vault that works on the internet. That's Cellframe in plain English. It's a new type of blockchain, a shared digital record book that no single company controls. What makes it different is its focus on future-proof security. It uses special maths, even powerful future quantum computers, and now a super-fast computer would struggle to break. It also aims to be fast, cheap to use, and helpful for building other digital services, even a whole new mini ledgers. Think of it as infrastructure and tools for the next generation of online business and finance. Not a flashy game or a meme coin, but the roads and the bridges underneath. The investor case, the simple version. The dream. If word gets serious about protecting money and data from future quantum hacking threats, and if businesses to start to use Cellframe's tools to build secure apps, the small project could grow a lot in value over many years. Early buyers paid about 10 cents per token. In 2021, it briefly soared to much higher, but since come way down. Today's reality, as of late May 2026, the whole project is still tiny, worth only about 1.2, well, it's 1.2 million. The token trades around 4 to 5 cents and is working network with over 1 million transactions so far. Ongoing updates like its own exchange and bridge are in active development, but not massively in everyday usage yet. So for an 80-year-old perspective, this is a high-risk, long-shot bet on clever technology that might matter in 5 to 10 years. It's more likely backing a quiet engineering lab than a hot new restaurant. Many similar projects fail or stay small. Few succeed big if the tech catches on. So the big positives: a smart team working on real future problems, no huge everyone gets rich quick hype. And big cautions: very small size means it can swing wildly in price. There are ongoing new tokens being created, dilution, and success isn't guaranteed. Most crypto projects like this lose money for investors. So the bottom line: only money you can comfortably afford to lose for a decade or more. It's a speculative, maybe someday story, not a sure thing or a get rich quick win. So treat it like very uncertain pension supplement, not your main savings. Always better to put most money in things you understand, like a simple index fund or government bonds. So that's the honest cafe chat, exciting tech on paper, and real world has been slow to adopt to it so far. So my friends, in summary, we have a threat that most people aren't taking seriously. People sitting on the beach. The tide might be going out a little bit. People might be wondering, what's that all about? But in the same way that somebody running down the beach warning of tsunami is not going to get most people bothering to do anything about it because they don't want to think about what might happen in the future. And that is Cellframe. We're addressing one of the big risks in crypto that not many people is taking seriously at the moment. And not only that, it's up against quantum resistant ledger. So there's a couple of projects now that are positioning themselves to take that. And it will be the case of who gets the adoption if that threat happens. Now, in this summary, the AI summary, they're saying it's 5 to 10 years off. One thing that is very apparent is that technology is moving way quicker than people are anticipating at the moment. And I think this 5 to 10 years is very optimistic. So there is definitely an opportunity here, but it's very high risk. It's a lottery ticket, my friends. And that would be my summary of Cellframe. But unlike a lottery ticket, there's a real team, there's real technology, there's real utility here if anyone decides to take the quantum threat seriously and start using it. But also for startup founders, I'd say there's an opportunity to build on this network because not many people are building on it at the moment. And you'll likely get a nice little discount for doing that. So if their marketing team or their sales team gets their act together, then Cellframe could be a really, really interesting project. But will it? We don't know. And that, my friends, is the degen game. And that is my summary of this project. If you know more than me, which is anyone that uses Cellframe, because I didn't know anything about it till about 45 minutes before recording this interview. But please leave in the comments, let me know your thoughts, let me know your insights, let me know what you think about this project so that we can share it for everybody else and I can start to learn whether Cellframe has a real opportunity here or not. And if you've enjoyed this content, it's completely neutral, it's educational, then please do subscribe to the channel, my friend. And if you want more content from me, you'll find it just there. But either way, stay lunatic, have fun, and make money with crypto.